It's pretty wild to think about how one single kind of abstract idea can completely reshape an entire country. But that's exactly what we're talking about today, the story of how a scientific principle laid down thousands of miles of iron track and literally built an empire of steam. So how on earth did that happen?
Right, this is the big question, isn't it? It almost sounds like a riddle. How do you get from a thought bouncing around in a scientist's head to a massive locomotive thundering across the countryside? Well, we're going to connect those dots, and trust me, it's a fascinating journey of science, incredible invention, and of course, a whole lot of ambition.
And our journey starts right here. But it doesn't start in a noisy factory or a boardroom full of investors. Nope. It all begins with a pure scientific spark. See, before you can even dream of building a steam engine, you have to understand the basic rules of what steam can even do. And the key, the absolute cornerstone, was thermodynamics. Now I know, it sounds super complicated, but the basic idea is actually pretty simple. Heat is just a form of energy. You heat up water, it explodes into steam, and that steam expands with some serious force. Scientists started realizing, hey, this isn't just random power, it's predictable. You can harness it. And this is the big aha moment. Early scientists figured out this incredibly clever trick. What if you fill a cylinder with steam, and then, whoosh, you cool it down really fast? The steam collapses back into water, creating a vacuum, an empty space. All of a sudden, the normal air pressure on the outside is way stronger, and it slams a piston down into that void. And just like that, you've turned heat into motion. You've literally tricked the atmosphere into doing work for you. There's this quote from the time that just nails the whole mindset. It wasn't about fighting nature. It was about learning its rules so well that you could, well, use them to your own advantage. It's a really cool idea, right? The only way to gain power is to first understand and obey the fundamental laws of the universe. Okay, so we've got the theory down, we know the science works, but how do you actually turn that idea into a real working machine of iron and fire? Well, that's where the inventors come in, the engineers who took these principles and started forging the very first engines. And you gotta know, this wasn't just one magic invention. It was a step-by-step evolution. First, you had Newcomen's engine, this huge, clunky beast that was mostly used to pump water out of mines. Then James Watt comes along and totally revolutionizes it with his separate condenser, which made it way, way more fuel efficient. But the real game changer was Richard Trevithick's high-pressure engine. It was smaller, punchier, and this is the crucial part, it was portable. And this right here, this is the big shift. We've gone from a giant machine that has to be bolted to the floor to an engine you could, put on wheels. The whole challenge changed. It wasn't just, can we make power? It was, can we make power that can push itself forward? And the answer to that question, well, it kicked off a national obsession. Once you have a moving engine, a locomotive, you need tracks for it to run on. And this realization led to this absolute explosion of investment and construction that would change the face of Britain forever. So, to really get the scale of this boom, you have to see where things started. In 1830, after the first few lines were built, Great Britain had less than 100 miles of public railway. That's it. It was basically a novelty, a cool experiment, just a tiny little footprint on a very big island. The fuse was lit in 1825, but it was the Liverpool to Manchester Railway in 1830 that proved this wasn't just a clever way to haul coal around. No, this was a seriously profitable business for moving goods and people. And the result? The 1840s kicked off something called railway mania, this crazy, speculative free-for-all, where it felt like every person in the country was trying to get in on the action, investing in new railway lines. Now look at this. Just 22 years later, the network had exploded from under 100 miles to over 7,500 miles of track. That is not just growth, that is a full-blown revolution. An entire web of iron was thrown across the nation in the span of a single generation. It's just incredible. So building the railways was one thing, but living with them, that was something else entirely. This new network didn't just make travel faster, it fundamentally changed daily life, society. It even changed our idea of time itself. I mean, this comparison really says it all. A trip that took days by horse and carriage can now be done in a few hours. News, letters, ideas, they all moved at the speed of steam. For the very first time, fresh fish caught on the coast could be on a dinner plate in London that very same day. And then there's time. Get this, before the railways, every single town just set its own local time by the sun. But you can't run a train schedule that way, so the railways created standardized time, railway time. And that was more than just convenience, it was a huge mental shift for everyone, from living by the sun's rhythm to living by a single mechanical national clock.
And the ripple effects just kept spreading. People could move to cities for work like never before, which fueled the huge growth of industry. Companies could now sell their products across the entire country, creating one big connected market. Even the simple idea of taking a day trip to the beach for fun suddenly became possible for ordinary working people. The railway really did touch everything.
So let's tie all of this together. From a simple principle of physics to a nation covered in steel tracks, the story of the railway is just the perfect example of how one innovation can echo through an entire society. What started as a scientific question about heat and pressure ended up becoming the physical network, the circulatory system, that powered the world's very first industrial superpower. It moved the goods, the people, and the information that made everything else possible. And that kind of leaves us with one last thought to chew on. The railways connected everything, they shrank the world, and they created a totally new kind of economy. In a very real sense, they were the internet of their day. Which makes you wonder, what is our railway boom? What's the technology